Okay.
Okay, so Zach, what inspired you to begin working as an actor?
Well, when I was 7, I started doing theater after taking singing lessons for about 6 months at a community college in where I'm from in St. Louis, Missouri. And I really found that I enjoyed theater. It was something that I liked to do. I did the first one with my dad, and I started doing more of it. I eventually got an agent in St. Louis, and I did a commercial for a local grocery store, and a small independent film came through town, and I did one scene in that. And after doing that film, where my scene was really just talking to the other actor who was also the director and throwing M&Ms into a cup. It was really simple, but I found something that attracted me to it, and like inside me that I really found that I enjoyed, and it was something that made me feel. It's a difficult feeling to describe, but it was inspirational and motivational, and I wanted to do more of it. And I told my parents that, and that's one of the reasons we were prompted to move to Los Angeles.
So, when you started working on television, give us an example of one of your first experiences of being on the set.
hmm my first real television set was on Hannah Montana for Disney Channel. That was really cool because it was. I mean, it's one of an up and coming young actors. Many of them, their main goal is I wanna be on a Disney Channel show. I wanna have that experience. And when I got on the set for Hannah Montana, it was just a 2 day thing, and I only had a few lines, but it felt like I was working and I was doing what I loved, and it was just, even though it was a small part, I was working on my craft, and I was going to be on TV and doing what I love. So that was a moment of realization, and definitely a milestone in my career for me.
So, you're now on Disney Junior's Sofia the First. So, obviously, that entails doing a lot of voice work and
Yes.
probably a very different thing to just being acting in front of a camera. So, can you just tell us how working on voice work would differ from working on set with a camera, and what challenges may approach you from changing one role to another?
Well, voiceover and being in the studio for it, and animation and radio, it's always a little more laid back than on camera. Generally, because for one reason, it's the production process on animation takes a long time because generally they do the voice acting before the animation. So it's much earlier in the production, so everyone's kind of laid back, and there's not too many deadlines to beat, and there's a lot of creative freedom. While there is that on film sets, there's a lot of people to manage. There's a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot to change scenes, to change the camera angles and everything requires a lot more work than just pulling up the other script in the studio and voiceover. But I love them both for their different reasons. Voiceover is can be zany, it can be heartfelt, it can be everything, and on camera acting is it can be a very uplifting environment, even though it's sometimes hectic because it can motivate you and the other actors to basically d- do well in what you do. And yeah, I definitely love both environments, and I feel like I've always been it's always been something I've been attracted to.
And if there is anything that you could say, if you met somebody that had just come up to you and said, "Hey, I want to be an actor, how do I go about it?" Can you give us some tips and some guidance to these people that may be aspiring to do exactly what you're doing now, but what work would they have to entail, and what should they be prepared for?
It's definitely a lot of work, and it's if you're not ready for that, then it probably isn't for you. You have to work on your craft for many hours. But the first thing I would tell you to do is find a teacher you like, someone who's been in the business for a while and knows their stuff. I have a teacher that I know very well. He's fantastic, and he's taught me for about 5 years now. Uh, and that'll help you get in the time to work on your craft, and that's the most important thing. The other thing is to prepare for the rejection, because it's going to happen all the time. I mean, especially when you first start, you'll go on 10 auditions and you won't hear back on any of them, and it's frustrating, but that's how it goes because there's so much competition and so few jobs to go around. You just have to stick it out, and eventually something will come around. and that's when you jump on it, and that's when you start building your resume and your career, and start working. Um, I mean, people think that once you make it to a certain level and you have your own show, that's it's all glitz and glam and you have everything, and it's not. I mean, I still go on many auditions every week, and I don't get called back on a lot of them, and it's a process of rejection and trial and error, really. So be prepared for that, definitely.